What is up, cinephiles? Welcome back to Screen Kings. For today's video, we'll be doing a non-spoiler review of the romantic drama, partly period piece, Netflix film called The Last Letter from Your Lover, directed by Augustine Frizzell. This is based on the novel of the same name by Jojo Moyes, who you might have known as the author of the popular novel Me Before You. But this movie tells about the story of a young female journalist in London who uncovers a series of love letters detailing the illicit love affair of two star-crossed lovers back in 1960s. And she becomes obsessed with their story, that she finds the need to know their identities and know where their love story ends. Now, before I continue with this review, I invite you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so by hitting that subscribe button for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. And while you're at it, give this video a like because it really helps the channel. Now, as always, I'm joined by my ever-reliable cinephile friend, Carlos Laron. Hello!
Hi Kevin! Well, happy to be back again.
Yeah, so are you in the mood for some old-fashioned romance?
Oh yes, I was, because I suggested this to you, and this movie falls under the category of movies with incredibly good-looking leads falling in love, you know, defying the odds and standing the test of time. It's just that kind of movie, like a sweeping romantic drama. It's quite telling of the power of love, as cliche as it may sound, but you know, I like those movies every once in a while. This movie had a lot of things to say, and I just don't know if at the end of this movie the sparks flew for me. So we're gonna delve on that later. And yeah, like you said, it was directed by Augustine Frizzell. She directed Never Going Back, a wild comedy in 2019. I suggest you see that if you have time because it was funny. I found it interesting that she went with another type of genre here. It's, like I said, romantic drama. It's along the same veins as The Notebook and Evening. This was a decent fare, like I said, but I watched it in 2 viewings. I didn't instantly fall in love with it the first time, so I had to pause and then start again another day. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the filmmaker, but in terms of tone, they're actually two, because we have here a modern and classic love story. So I can see her directing style in balancing those two tones. I'm not gonna lie, the only reason that I watched this because for Shailene Woodley. I've never seen her in these types of role before, classy and commanding of presence. I love that her role is the one that takes charge, the one who makes a first move, and then Felicity Jones. I love the bashfulness and the playfulness of her character, and they really brought this film. I don't think the story is interesting enough for me. I'm just gonna put it out as blunt as that. But in terms of chemistry, I still find the sparks a bit lacking, and that's not any prejudice to their respective leading men because they're lesser known. But maybe that's just the way it happened, because it's hard to present a story like this because you need to balance essentially 2 love stories, one happening in the past and one happening in the present. For the past, you only get glimpses and imagination of what's happening based on the mind of our female journalist here, and for the most part, you can see flashes of emotion, and I really dig the cinematography on that particular part because it showcases the Hollywood romance, and everything is portrayed in rose-colored tint lenses. And yeah, I think it's mostly worth it for that cinematography for that part. I just wish the visuals match my emotional pull for the movie.
Pretty much on the same page as you there. You know, the story goes back and forth between 2 intersecting arcs and 2 time periods, right? And of course, the common denominator that I found was that in the present day, we have Ellie, played by Felicity Jones. Her idea of romance has long vanished, and she has grown weary of love, so to say. And Jennifer, in the 1960s, she's married, but she is stuck. She thinks that marriage and love is the thing that makes someone happy, but she isn't happy. She longs for love and adventure, and then she meets Anthony, played by Callum Turner, who has his respective predicament, which is he is divorced and he cannot see his son whenever he wants to, right? Suffice to say, the right love at the wrong time. As a viewer who wants the main characters to be happy in all the movies I see, I was rooting for them despite their bad decisions. And I also wish that we got less of the present time and more of the 1960s Jennifer Anthony love story.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The 1960s love story made more of an impact for me. There are some thematic parallels here, both in the character of Jennifer and Ellie, that they are unhappy and they're just settling for what they think is best. I always have this stance when it comes to romantic dramas that I don't like it when they romanticize illicit love affairs like this, but to the film's credit, it doesn't come across as annoying. I was generally rooting for them, but more on the happiness of the character played by Shailene Woodley, because I just needed more chemistry from them. You can understand the decisions that they made here. It's all done in the name of love. And then for the character of Ellie, she's not settling into any relationships because she was heartbroken in her past. I just find the arc of Ellie here less appealing because it's essentially in service. Her character remains to be a vessel for the supposedly much more impactful story, which is the 1960s arc.
I couldn't agree more to what you said. To make it somehow like they're going through the same thing, but they're going through different things. On a different note though, I want to say, because you said that you love Shailene Woodley, I want to say welcome back Shailene Woodley. She is an amazing actress, and the last movie I saw her in was The Mauritanian with Jodie Foster.
She's there?
Yeah, she was there. It's a supporting role, but I think she was compelling there, and it was a serious role. If she is attached to a project, I'm always down to watch it. And for a time, she was definitely regarded as one of Hollywood's it actresses. And you know, she was appearing project after project. That year where she did the Divergent series, The Fault in Our Stars, like every project you see her name. And more recently, Big Little Lies, which I thought was a departure but perfect for her. It was just really nice to see her again in a lead role. When it comes to the roles of Jennifer and Ellie, I think that if the casting director switched it up and made Felicity Jones as Jennifer and Shailene as Ellie, I think we would have gotten a different movie, but the same caliber of performances, because Felicity Jones is amazing too, right? Do you agree with me?
I agree with you. I think I can almost see Felicity Jones playing this with, you know, they know the sensibilities of this character, and she's a well-adept actress. And I'm sure, I said earlier that they're both perfectly casted on their roles, but if the roles were interchanged, I'm sure they can deliver, and it would be something different. I'm not sure if it's gonna be something better, but I can assure you that it's going to be good in terms of their performances. I said earlier that I wasn't pulled much by the story, maybe because it feels like I've seen this story before. I can almost think other stories with similar plots like this, but the only movie that comes into my mind is the movie Letters to Juliet starring Amanda Seyfried. So in there, she's also trying to rekindle this two old couple. So that's the same vibe that I'm getting somewhere in the film. The third act is a bit cheesy for my taste. I used to be a hopeless romantic, but over time I grew bit pragmatic. So when I see those tropes played in, you know, the typical meet me at the train station moment, I find it a bit cringy. But I have to say, there's a moment in the last shot when they do a reimagination that I actually like. It's the level of cheesiness that I can tolerate. But in terms of the production values, of course, the one that stands out is again the 1960s, the cinematography and the costume design, especially of the dresses worn by Shailene Woodley. Somehow, it still feels an incomplete love story. Maybe it's just me, and maybe it will work for some of you. And yeah, I'm going to give this movie for now a 2.5 out of 5. I was just a bit disengaged while watching, and I was just watching again really for the performances of these two incredible actresses.
2.5, wow. I thought you were gonna rate it even lower, but
Okay.
honestly, same here. It's not perfect by any means, and like I said in the beginning, the sparks didn't fly for me. But I'll give credit to where it is due. Big ups to the soundtrack. The 1960s music were amazing,
Yes.
and the costume design took me on a time machine to that era. The location were great. You know, London and the French Riviera. I want to go there for sure. And if anything, what I took away from this movie is, of course, the enduring power of love, that it is an elusive thing. So when it comes to our lives, I think we better hold on to it for dear life because no same love comes around twice. So yeah, and on that note, I'm gonna rate it 1.5 today.
Okay, wow, I did not expect that rating. Wow, wow, you surprised me there. Okay, so that's it for our review of The Lost Letter from Your Lover. How about you guys? Have you seen this movie? Let me know what you think on the comment sections down below. Also, if you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like and subscribe to us for weekly content. Carlo, thank you so much for yet again insightful review.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and I enjoy doing this a lot. So again, thank you.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much guys for watching. Until then, we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.